Time loop stories are a fun trope I really enjoy, from Groundhog's Day to Russian Doll, or that really cool episode from The Librarians. Many games have tried to emulate elements of this structure, including in the TTRPG sphere. From Misfits and Magic Season 2 to the Adventure Zone, the challenge then arises. How do you make a genre that leans on repetition interesting to play through? One answer is Time to Drop, a rules light, GM-less system about a group of people attempting a heist. But these unexpected thieves are stuck in a time loop. All you really need to play, besides your group of friends, is 2d6 dice, pencil, paper, a timer, and tarot cards. You can use these dice to generate your character's role on the team alongside what you're attempting to steal. I've gotten to play the system twice so far. I'll give you a quick rundown of each of the teams and their scenarios. The first involved Pigeon Purple Pants, the gadget guy, Sparrow the driver, Wren the rookie, Lark the medic, and Crow the con artist. Their goal was to snag a magical painting. Rumors abounded about it. Some said that it could pull people into a pocket dimension, while others said it could be used to summon monsters or ravage the world with its magic. It belonged to an empress. Her court technomage had a special watch, which synced up to the painting, activating a defensive time loop when somebody attempted to steal it. The painting was in the midst of transit, taken to the Empress's giant mecha from a museum gala, and there was plans to take it off planet from there. Monikered Team Bird, there was a moment at the beginning where Rookie Wren was talking with Pigeon. He thought each of them had picked out a bird name, but Pigeon insisted that this was each of their legal names, this coincidence bringing them together. Wren cocked his head, confused, explaining how he had picked this name, assuming they all went by code names. While the second team involved Rookie the rookie, Daniel Nonagon the safecracker, and Colton Cerberus the muscle. Their team was infiltrating a gigantic ship, a fiendish chef presenting new food, an opportunity to steal his prized recipe in gold. Daniel used to work for him, taking a beating before quitting. These specialized roles are mostly for flavor and character building, not really providing concrete mechanical benefits. We had a circumstance where one of the characters was established as the physically strongest of their team, but when a role came up, we were joking about how the math was the same either way. Part of me was thinking, would it take too much away from the open-ended creativity and rules-light nature of the system if there was an option to have roles give specific mechanical benefits and bonuses? Either way, once you've established your characters and goal, you draw 3 tarot cards, interpreting the results to determine who the owner of the object is, what sort of locale it is within, and the main obstacle is protecting it. 3 complications to start. For instance, within the second example I discussed, we drew the devil card, deciding that it represented the devilishly handsome head chef. Each loop is 41 minutes, inspired by this iconic album. During the first time I played, we only had about an hour and 45 minutes to play. We got through the first loop, but we didn't have enough time to properly run through a second loop. So we decided to go around the table, each player describing the loop their character remembered the most, leaving the official ending ambiguous. One loop involved the protagonist and antagonist becoming friends, having a meal at Wendy's. Others were drastically different, such as a giant mecha fight or Pigeon Purple Pants reuniting with his family. I had slightly more time to play the second time around, but I took this as a lesson, using loops that were 30 minutes long. With this, we ended with Colton escaping the loop with riches in tow, Daniel and Rookie still trapped inside. They weren't fast enough, kept in the clutches of this fiend. I've heard other friends who've played the system mention how they rolled high and escaped the loop first time. I think running parallel to this is the difficulties that can arise when you're adjudicating and running both protagonists and antagonists, which can be amplified when you're newer to running GM-less systems. There's also a chance that no new complications will arise during a loop, which is drawing cards to represent new challenges that come when you roll low. Drawing tarot cards is one of the most fun parts of the system, And I was thinking, what if you had to automatically draw a card in the midst of the initial loop if no complications had been encountered? I've tried to run time loop scenarios using D&D 5e, and although they were fun, I don't think I fully encapsulated the quintessential parts of the genre. I really admire how in the indie TTRPG space, you can have games which really hone in on a narrow experience. I also love how you can steal from other systems and games, kit bashing together weird experiences, or using elements for mini games. Go check this game out. I'll drop a link below. There's even some really fun challenges in the back that you can try out. I actually realized I've done time loop scenarios twice in D&D 5e. Once it was a quick one-shot during Thanksgiving evening, where a calamity was affecting Modrons and they had to save them to break out. While the second was part of a longer campaign, two musicians had escaped a time loop and came to the party, desperate to save the third person in their band that was still trapped back in the loop. They did a poor job of explaining the situation to the crew, to put it mildly, eventually getting everyone trapped back in the time loop in the process. Although some player characters enjoyed it, getting farms filled with grandiose plants or leading the lives they wished they had away from adventuring. Eventually, soon enough, they all had to break out, taking down towers that controlled time and confronting the mage who had set it up. I wanted to demo how setup for the system could look. So, for instance, with 2 10s and a 9, that would give us 2 inside men and then a safecracker. Obviously, you can re-roll if you'd like, or you could just come up with your own stuff. For instance, I really wanted to be a medic, so we went with that. While after that, you can roll to determine why your character wants to stop being in the heist business. And we got I'm getting too old for this shit. It felt really funny last time we played because my character really wanted to keep the team together, wanted to still have a bunch of fun, while the other two people were so done with it. Like, Rookie had an awful time the first time around, while Colton just got a better job opportunity. After rolling, we determined the crew would be going for a mysterious safety deposit box from the largest bank in the city. Then drawing for the mark, locale, and guard. I actually drew from a larger deck than they recommend, because they recommend just going with the major arcana. But we got the 3 of Swords, and I thought that could determine that one of the antagonists is like an ex of one of the protagonists, like maybe one of the inside men. Then I got Temperance, and my version of these cards has an angel on it. And I was thinking, what if there's like a group of hypocritical banker angels? And yeah, that's what we landed for that. And then we got the Page of Swords. And I was thinking that maybe this could represent there's like a bunch of eyes all around, like always watching. Or maybe the owner of this place has an attendant who's like this page boy with a sword. You can really interpret the cards as loosely, as literally, however you'd like, you know? And say, for instance, you were in a scenario where the inside man in this disguise, they're spotted by their ex, this owner of the bank, and they have to like keep up their disguise, but they roll a 6, so you draw a new complication, which would be the Chariot. And I think based on how the Chariot could mean, maybe not only are they recognized, but this person starts relitigating events, bringing up these like deep emotional memories. Yeah. And as you clear more complications, you get higher bonuses. And once all the complications are cleared and you get to a satisfying narrative end, that's the end of the loop. You're out. Good job. And this game has made me think about how a lot of people in the TTRPG sphere kind of have this derision for play pretend games. Games they see as like so rules light that it's ostensibly playing pretend or just writing a story with friends. But I think these systems, especially if they're done effectively, provide a really good, solid framework, a great starting off point, especially for people who are new to the TTRPG sphere. But yeah. You know, some people love their crunchy systems, some people love their rules light systems. But you know, I love my time loops, and whatever form they may appear. They're always part of a balanced breakfast. One last interesting rule I forgot to mention was that on any roll containing doubles, you can invert the complication card and reinterpret it. And it's been so cool. I don't necessarily really believe in tarot, but I think the art is so beautiful and a lot of people I know find meaning through it, which is sick. And I want to try out more systems that involve tarot or more systems that do time loops in general. Even though I've played the system twice, we never had a circumstance where a complication was inverted, which I just think that's so funny. Sometimes the dice are silly. But yeah. Please, please, like I said, support the creator. Get running, get looping, and remember what I've told you before the loop begins again.